So now that Sony gave up on us, they no longer make interesting cameras, there really is only Nikon or Canon. We have the R6 III now versus Z6 III, very interesting for most people, and the ZR, little sweet touch for us vlogger hobos. Now it is Canon and Nikon's time to shine. Which is the better company? We will compare them today and answer a question.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we're on the Canon R5 II with the EF 24mm 1.4 and a glimmer glass 1. And I'll switch to the Nikon with the same lens using the Fringer adapter. We'll see some stuff. I have lasers coming out of my ears, by the way. That was a choice. And we're in 4K S RAW on the Canon. Most balanced RAW profile there is, probably 330 megabits per second. And we'll do NRAW as a comparison. And I'm going to edit both of these on my new MacBook M4 Max laptop. And at the end, stay tuned till the end, I'll tell you if it was smooth enough. And then in a future video, I will be comparing Final Cut Pro to DaVinci. Is the performance really that much better? So I made a bunch of notes and rants, but first let's answer a question. I have a question. Want to buy a new mirrorless camera comparing between Canon and Nikon. He's what inspired this whole video. Let's thank him by throwing tomatoes at him. The camera for both portrait, landscape, wildlife. What's your recommendation? Are you seriously trying to take a photo on my show? I just want to pour water on your shoes. That's what I would do if I met you in real life. Just, oh, whoops. Do you want to go for a walk? It'll dry off. Okay, let me just humor him quickly because he's obviously taking pictures. Okay, portraits, you could get by with anything. A Canon EOS R original, that would be very sweet. Beautiful, 30 megapixels, nice color science, or the R8 even. Like, what are you even doing here? Or you go with the Nikon Z5? Even the original for portraits, come on. Landscape, do you need the more megapixels? Highly unlikely. Either of those are fine. Who cares about landscapes? Wildlife, now you're into the shit, man. You can find the original Canon R5 for wildlife and everything you just said for fairly cheap now. The R5 II is out, so you can find a pretty cheap one. I've seen them. Or just Nikon Z5 II would be good enough, probably. I prefer the Z6 III. You could jump right up to the Z8 for more megapixels, but it's worse video specs in a lot of ways. But for portraits, dreamy portraits, I'm recommending old Canon EF lenses or the old Nikon G lenses. There. Landscape, no one cares about you. Wildlife, I feel like that 800mm Tony 11 is impossible to beat. They both have a zoom that's like 180 to 600 for Nikon, 200 to 800 for Canon. That's probably where you're gonna be, bunch of losers without your primes. So you pick. I'd rather have the longer reach of the Canon. Nikon primes 600 and 800 are glorious, but they're heavier and way more expensive. Just go with the budget option from Canon. I don't know why people even ask me questions like this, because I focus 100% on video, and that's what I'm not even good at. But like, that's at least what I focus on. It doesn't make me good at it. Photos, I have no idea. Like, I couldn't care less. So I wrote down better notes, and they're categories between Nikon and Canon. So first we talk about autofocus. Canon is leagues better. It's not even in the ballpark. It's not only the smoothness of it, the accuracy, and the speed. All three of those factors working together. And reliability. Way better. And I know I'm gonna do this on a Fringer adapter, and that's why. Even on Nikon native lenses, that's not smooth. For the most part, this has been rock solid. 97% of my footage is always in focus, and smoothly so. I did film a wedding, couple key moments, just like the bride walking down the aisle, jumped to the flowers and then back. Like, that was a freak accident. Don't know what happened there, but maybe she got outside of my box or something. Who knows? I had a small box. It should have been okay, but it wasn't. So like a couple times, and like the bride being kissed by her mother, like it jumped to the guy and I was filming him, and it never came back to her. So like, it's my fault. Now that's not to say Nikon is bad autofocus. I would say they're third place. It's Sony at the top still, Canon next, Nikon next. Red, Pentax. Blackmagic, Fuji. Panasonic's higher up, I forgot them, they suck. When it comes to stabilization, I also give the edge to Canon, like much better, much smoother. Both of them have their jerky moments, and it's annoying. In all scenarios, it's really distracting at times. It's just like, it's so smooth, and it's not, and then it's like, oh, no, it is perfect. That's like, okay, no, it's gonna happen to you. But the annoying thing with Nikon, this will be the death of my life. You have two modes. You're the only company that separates these modes. You have normal and sport. Normal means don't ever move. You can only be handheld, and it's the smoothest possible. If you start moving, if your bird moves, it's like, okay, jerk, jerk, don't be in that mode. Switch over to sport for that. Okay, sport mode on. Okay, cool. Okay, we're moving all the time. What if you want to stop? Okay, we're stopping. It's not as stable as normal when I'm just standing here. Uh-oh, move around. There's no perfect mode. We don't just do neither of those things. We're moving, we're stopping, we're doing all kinds of stuff. It should be one mode, but it isn't. My whole trip into the depths of the southern world was all in normal, and it was very jerky. But there were times where I'm just still, and it was good for those moments. Or just hand holding, like where I'm just here standing, it was great. But then, oh, I should have used sport for some, and there's no button for it. What are you supposed to do? You can't change it while it's recording. What are we, handicapped? Whereas Canon just works, there's no extra modes, and when it comes to digital, both have it, but Canon has a 10% crop and then like a 30. And like they're both really good. Whereas Nikon just has like the 35, if anything. It's like big crop and it works quite well. At least Canon gives you the choice, because you almost never want that second one. That's for extreme craziness. You just want a little 10% that takes the edge off. It almost never does. Let us switch to Nicky Boy. I don't know, man. Everything is exactly the same. 1.4, 1/50th, 800 base ISO. It seems like my face is clipping all to hell, but nothing is actually clipping in the waveform, and there's no zebras on my face, but side by side, it seems something's off. Something a little off? No, just my imagination? Are there elves near my pockets? So first, how's the M4 Max handling the Canon RAW file, you ask? Wow, good purchase, 14-inch, not throttling. Fan noise? So when it comes to the basics of like, is your footage in focus and how stable is it and pleasing to watch, Canon is actually in the lead. But when it comes to color science, some will prefer one, some will prefer another. If you're looking at that guy, right now, just regular LUT. No film bias offset, just there's that versus Canon C-Log 2 LUT. Skin tones, the redness of the shirt, the blue light, complementary, the laser ear thing, could kill cats on either side. And of course the autofocus, we have not tested yet. But like for the most part, you're getting somewhat decent performance. But when it comes to color, I don't know, sometimes I prefer one. Outside, I think the Nikon has more filmic touch to it. So I'm always preferring that, whereas Canon's more cartoony. But if it's just portraits and facial explorations, I saved the sentence. Canon's like pretty damn pleasing. If not, maybe a little warm or yellowy, it's even skin tones and it's beauty mode. Whereas Nikon's a little harsher, but like grit of the city. And for those who say you can just match it in post, you really can't. You never can. Or like people would just be doing that. You can get close in the ballpark. You might even be able to fool someone saying, oh, this is the Canon. That was a Pentax. You could, but it's hard. Even if you have your charts and you're lining up your wheels and blue now is perfect blue. I did that once on the Sony trying to get a Canon look. And I lined up all the charts. I was like, we're gonna have it. And it was so off, it wasn't even close to funny. I don't know how, like all the colors lined up to Canon colors. I was like, okay, the cyan, blue leans cyan on Canon. Didn't match. And even if you know what you're doing, it never actually matches. Now, when it comes to lenses, both have access to their older superior lenses, EF and G mount. You can do it. You can go for any old vintage, but they're heavy, they're clunky. The autofocus not as perfect. Okay, whatever, stabilization maybe a little jerky. When it comes to like the actual native lenses, here's where goodbye Canon, like Canon has one lens now, the 45mm 1.2. It might have some pop, might not, but it's close, it's in the ballpark. Nikon has 5 lenses, 26, 28, 35, 40, 50. All primes, all with pop. And Nikon actually lets third-party companies make lenses for their system. So you get all the Viltroxes and the Tamrons and all the China third-party stuff. It's coming to you. And because of their mount size and flange distance, they can adapt anything, even like native performance, all Sony E-mount. So it's like, holy shit, I know a lot of people using just their Sony glass on Nikon, and you're all stupid because Sony glass is so clinical and dumb. God, why don't you upgrade to the Zeiss at least? Not one of you freaks is on a Zeiss. I'm the only one who did it back on the ZF, you dick. So all the wide to mid telephoto primes, Nikon has the advantage. When it comes to telephoto for wildlife, this is where it's kind of weird in the sense that for video, that 800mm Tony 11, it's perfect because I don't care about shutter speed. I'm not having to freeze action. If anything, I want it lower. So I get why some professionals wouldn't like that lens, but really it has a beautiful rendering and swirly tone. And it's super light for 800mm. You cannot beat that thing. So if you're getting the 800mm Nikon Prime, it's so heavy and expensive. Yes, it'll be sharper, might not have the pop or the swirly tone. It'll be better though. Now when it comes to price, Canon's quite a bit more pricey, except their budget lenses. That's the thing about Canon, like if you don't care about pop, then you have access to really cheap glass, all affordable stuff like 51.8, 85mm Tony 2, that 800mm, like everything is cheap, 16mm 2.8, all these zooms. They have ghetto lenses that just look so terrible, but they're sharp. And you probably can't even see the pop anyway, so you go that route. Okay, Canon has some nice stuff. But Nikon bodies are cheaper in general, so those are the main theories when picking between Nikon and Canon. But for me, if you want my real thoughts here, for my type of work, this is work, they're both good. I don't know that I could decide, especially because I like wildlife and that 800mm is so light that it's not worth it to go to Nikon for wildlife because your 800's too heavy and your zoom is only 600 and even heavier. I don't like that. The 600 was good, but that's not enough reach. So like Canon wins for wildlife. For portraits, I think I lean Canon. I still lean Canon, and the autofocus much better. There's always weirdness with Nikon, even with native. But like for vlogging, actually Canon's more stable too, but 28's not the perfect focal length. Oh God, that 26mm, man, it has problems. It's not perfect, but it's light. If you get the ZR, it's much lighter than the Canon, and it's more filmic outside, and you get your 4K 120 with the crop. So like that's handy for vlogging, whereas Canon doesn't crop. You think, oh, that's better. It's not. If Canon allowed third-party companies to actually make lenses for the system, I probably never would have got the Nikon back. That's the only reason I got it in the first place, but I kind of fell in love going for the vlogs and stuff, and it's just a filmic touch. But like, I could totally get by with just Canon if they had that aspect where I could get Chinese lenses and sell them for Zeiss lenses. Even though Zeiss doesn't run on Canon, so that'd be a waste. But final verdict is Canon for in here. Nikon for vlogging, even though it's less stable, it looks cooler outside. Canon for wildlife. Nikon for slow-mo street stuff just because it's more filmic. And they're both good, and it's better to have both for each different reason. So, how did the M4 Max perform today? Is it struggling with the Nikon file? Good, okay. Did it struggle with any of the side-by-sides both? Well, and what if I add film grain? Okay, all right, good to know. I'm gonna do that today. And then I'll compare Final Cut. I'll have to learn it somehow, quickly. Well, it'll be a good video. So thank you for watching. What do you think? Canon or Nikon in your heart? It's both. That's the answer. There's no one answer. Bitcoin is the only answer. I'll leave. How you doing? Subscribe.